Rolling. Well, hello everyone, GCC community, students, faculty, staff, our Glendale community. I'd like to welcome you to our every semester business lecture series. And today we're doing something really neat, and we're doing it with 3 Shark Tank contestants. We're doing a pitch fest. So super excited. I want to first congratulate, before we move on to the pitch fest, our business club that has worked incredibly hard to bring this event to life. So thank you, Business Club. And if the students here don't know what Business Club is, come and see your instructor. But if you're looking for a career in business, that's the place to go. They're doing amazing things, and I think you should be part of it. So without further ado, we're excited to have our 3 Shark Tank contestants, and I'm going to introduce them now. We have Dr. Ma. Dr. Ma is an experienced anesthesiologist with a demonstrated history of working in the hospital and healthcare industry. She is a founder of BareEase, a pre-waxing treatment that has changed the hair removal industry. She has a background in healthcare services and is professionally skilled in cosmetics, business development, entrepreneurship, marketing strategy, and startups. She appeared on Shark Tank season 5. We have next Gary Fleischman. He is the CEO or Chief Executive Officer of Sharkwheel, which is an innovation described on their website as a skateboard wheel company that specializes in a new type of wheel that is faster, smoother, longer lasting, and is all superior on all terrain. I would like to have that, wouldn't you? Gary Fleischman is a real estate agent who started in 1980 and has been very involved in both commercial and residential real estate. And last, we have Zack Fleischman. He's the COO, or the Chief Operating Officer of Sharkwheel. He appeared on Shark Tank season 6. This is also his 3rd startup company as COO. He started his own company, Z Management, which turned into one of the most successful tennis instruction businesses in Southern California. So thank you, judges. We're going to get to know you in a little bit, but I wanted to give everyone a brief introduction before we get on to our Pitch Fest contestants. So without further ado, our Pitch Fest contestants are Aline Sokhamanian. Am I saying that correctly, I hope? Close?
Yeah, close enough.
Oh, good, good. Garno Amirian. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Alicia Houston. Hello. And Melanie Sapanian. Are you on there, Melanie?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Oh, so I'm so excited for you guys. Well, first off, thank you. I know it's such hard work getting a pitch pulled together, as I've done it several times myself. So getting to this point is incredibly important, and you guys did it. So hey, you're through the first step. So congratulations on that. So all of you have different majors. You're all GCC students, and you all have different backgrounds. So I am going to say, let the competition begin. All right, so first we're going to start with Aline. Aline, whenever you're ready, please go ahead and start.
Okay, let me share my screen. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, judges. I'm Ali Soghomonian, the founder of Drift. Drift is an app or website where teenagers who have just received their license can sign up for a monthly subscription to drive used cars. This idea is cost-effective for families who can't afford to lease or buy a car, and for those who don't want to commit to something long-term. The way this works is that there are 3 levels, level 1, 2, and 3, and the prices for those are $150, $180, and $220 respectively. Whoever signs up starts at level 1, which has a certain selection of cars to choose from, and they are required to drive the car of their choice for 6 months. After that 6 months, we will check their driving history, and if it's good, then the person can move on to level 2, where they get a broader range of cars to choose from. And once again, after 6 months, we will check their driving history, and if it's clean, then they move up to level 3, having access to all possible car options that our company provides. This idea came to me when I was getting my license at 16. I was so excited to get my driver license, and I was ready to go drive around and visit my friends when I realized I didn't have a car. We had 2 cars at home, and both my parents had full-time jobs, so they would use them during the day. After people start getting their licenses, they possibly get jobs, volunteering opportunities, and have greater responsibilities. And, by this time, it's not cool to be driven around by your mom. So, as I previously stated, using our monthly subscription plan, this would be more cost effective for families who aren't very financially stable and for anyone who doesn't want to keep the same car for too long. Our competitors as of today are any rental car companies such as Budget, Hearst, or Ace. However, the problem with these companies is that they require the driver of their rental cars to be 25 years or older. Uber and Lyft could also be possible competitors. However, their costs will be much more expensive since the user pays every time they use the service, plus the extra charge based on the distance of their trip. Drift plans to partner up with any used car sellers such as Carvana, CarMax, and AutoTrader. Also, we can partner up with mechanic shops connected with these companies to repair any damages or technical issues that the car has. If a driver gets a ticket or gets into an accident, they are fully responsible to cover the cost for the damages or the ticket. Once we take note of it, the user will be demoted down a level. But if the driver is in level 1, they will be restricted from using our services for 6 months. For funding, we will mostly rely on our partnerships while also taking donations from our community. However, if neither of those options work, or if we need more funding, we can take out a loan from the bank and pay it back as the business progresses. Lastly, to advertise, we plan on using social media as our main platform, and then we may expand to TV commercials or even billboard and magazine ads. Since the country is slowly opening back up, I'm sure that teenagers will be wanting to get out of their houses this summer and explore attractions near them, causing a positive trend for this company. Thank you for listening, and now I will be taking questions.
Thank you, Aline. That was fantastic. So now we're going to move on to the judges for any questions. Dr. Ma, do you mind if we start with you? Any questions?
First of all, thank you so much for that presentation. I thought you kind of hit some of the major concerns and identified the problem that we may not have seen. And so, as I don't have a teenager yet, but I'm sure that will be coming down the line. One of my questions is, I think you kind of addressed it, but I just was hoping you can flesh it out a little bit more. In terms of the insurance, did you say that the individual would have to have a policy themselves? Or
Yes.
can they be like an additional rider on their parents' policy?
Either way they want to plan it out, that's not the company's job to take care of their insurance. So it doesn't matter as long as they have a provider that can cover the cost of any damages.
Okay, so they have to demonstrate that they do have that. And I know with most of the auto insurances, they have discounts for good grades and those other benefits, if you will, if you're you have other policies with your parents or household insurance needs. And then did you say anything about, let's say, for example, your customer wanted to end their commitment early? Let's say, for example, they signed up for 6 months, but they actually just want to use the service for 3 months because of a change of life situations. Did you discuss that at all? Like a sort of a subscription fee for that?
No, I did not describe that, but usually the service is for 6 months. You can cancel it after that, but for special circumstances, we can make exceptions.
Great. Thanks so much for answering my questions.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a couple questions. Good presentation. Thank you very much. We appreciated it. One question is, the big problem that most companies have, and this is age old, is being undercapitalized. That is an age old problem. So I see what you said. You said something about the partnerships.
Yes.
Will be part of that. And do you have a backup plan besides that?
As in where to get the used cars from?
Yeah, used cars and also to fund your business. In other words, you're going to do some advertising, like you said, social media. Unless
Mhm.
you're just going to do free advertising, which will not get you a lot, you're going to have to do a little bit of spending. And
Yeah.
then part of that is, do you have a team? Are you the sole person behind this, or have you thought about other people to be part of your team?
I am the sole person for this company, but I am willing to partner with anyone who can help me through the process and give me good ideas for how to manage it.
So you might want to think about how you're also going to fund it beyond just the partnership.
Mhm.
You know, like there's different fundraising techniques that you can do online.
Right.
Crowdfunding is probably the best
Mhm.
that we know of. Okay, just to let you know.
As
So
I stated,
is that
I said any backups would be collecting donations, which would be probably those online fundraisers, and also taking a loan to help it.
okay? Good. Thank you.
And yeah, so I just want to say, very good presentation. Love the name of the company as well, Drift. And I like the idea a lot. Nobody's catering to this market at all. So I think the idea is very strong. I guess my first question or my first comment is a follow-up to what Gary had just said about, most businesses fail because they don't have enough money. And I know you had mentioned loans, donations, and Gary was I think jumping at the right thing. One thing to look at is called equity crowdfunding online, which is kind of the future of raising money for startup companies, and it's the best way to generate that early cash flow that you'll need to be successful. So that'd be one thing to definitely look into, because this to me sounds like a technology play as well. You're probably going to have to build out an app. You're going to need coders. You're going to need significant capital, more than you're probably imagining, to build this out properly and to market it properly. So I would say that, the strength of your presentation was in the idea itself, which is a great idea. But, thinking about building a team, because a team is the most important part, and nobody can do it all by themselves. You always need to plan to raise a little bit more money than you think, and to build out the team a little bit more than you think. But overall, I thought it was really good. My one question is, I guess, on marketing. How do you plan on getting that out, other than free social media posts? How does the whole world find out about your idea?
Well, I also said billboards and magazines, but it's also word of mouth. And I think social media would be the best way to spread the word, because everyone's on social media now. And I just feel like that's the biggest platform that I can advertise my company.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'll definitely look into that, the equity
Crowdfunding. Yeah. Definitely.
equity crowdfunding. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Arlene. That was very
Can I say one more thing? I will say, I want to echo what Zach said, because also with the equity crowdfunding, you're kind of building your audience too. You're building the people who are interested in believing your product, and there may be potential customers. So you kind of get a 2-for-1. You get the funding, but also you get the potential customer.
Okay.
Yeah, because you get their email addresses too. When you do equity crowdfunding, when they send in the money, you have their email address. So,
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Right.
Thank you. I didn't know that.
no, that's good. Us three got you covered there. Okay.
excellent. Thank you. And thank you, judges. All right, Arlene, we'll be seeing you later in the competition.
Thank
Now,
you.
oh, you're welcome. Now we're moving on to Garno. Garno, are you ready to present your idea?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. The floor is yours, sir.
Um, okay. So can everyone see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, hello to everyone. My name is Garno Mirian, and my product is an app known as Procrastination Prevention.
So as for the description of the product, my product is an app designed to help designed to help prevent procrastination among students who are experiencing increased amounts of laziness due to online classes. And the way the app works is by having their users input their schedule, and then the app takes that schedule and pumps out reminders at the times that you specified to encourage students to keep up on their work or anything they want to do. Additionally, there are some other features such as attempting to use your phone while it's a period where you should be working. It'll prompt a message just to remind you to stay on task and stay motivated. And the goal of the whole app is to try and prevent procrastination as much as possible and try and push students in the correct path to being motivated. This is kind of just a UI of the app, and the interface of kind of give a visual representation of how it works. On the left is the app itself. As you can see, you input your schedules, what you want to do at what times. And on the right, when that time comes up, it'll give you a notification saying it's time to get working, and it'll give you a little inspirational quote just to push you there and make sure you actually get what you want to do done. As for the purpose of the app, I originally thought of it because I noticed myself and many of my peers were falling behind during online classes, whether it be submitting work late, the quality being much lower than they should normally be, or just anything in terms of losing motivation. And I thought an app would be a great way to combat this. And because of the original intent, it is primarily aimed at students, that is our target demographic, but it remains effective for anyone who wishes to better their work habits. So as for why people would use it, there are some alternatives out there. There are many motivation apps, but those focus primarily on quotes and not the scheduling aspect. On the other hand, there are scheduling apps, but those don't focus on the motivational aspect. There are also some workout apps out there, but those focus only on workouts. My app intends to combine all of these things to make it all encompassing and truly effective towards encouraging a better work ethic. And through the use of this app, users can expect to have more free time due to finishing work earlier, less stress, better grades, better work habits, and more sleep. So as for the development of the app, the software we'll be using to develop it is known as Xcode. It is a free app available on the App Store that uses the Swift programming language. And one benefit is that it's very simple to use. The button mapping is easy to learn. Um, and it is developed by Apple itself, which makes it very easy to get it on the App Store once it's done development. In addition, some cost will be going to hiring people who are more knowledgeable on the matter to ensure that the app runs smoothly and everything works well. As for advertising, it will mainly be done through social media, specifically Instagram, because it is cheap with a CPM rate of around $3 and a CPC rate of around 50 cents to a dollar. In addition, it's targeted towards the correct audience. Facebook offers similar rates, but most people use Facebook are older, which means they're probably done with schooling and won't have as much of a need for the app. Snapchat, on the other hand, is a little more on the expensive side, especially since we won't be getting as much benefit from the money we put in. Because of this low cost, expenses on advertising can be as low as $200 a month for a startup. As we go on, that'll obviously increase, our profits increase, but that's just an initial value. Speaking of expenses, revenue, and profit, most of the expenses will be on advertising, as I said, with that $200 a month. In addition, there's a $99 annual fee for the Apple Developer Program, which is what is necessary to put the app on the App Store, and the additional $1,000 I mentioned before to help with development. This will cover a majority of the expenses at $3,500 for the first year. Revenue will mainly be made from a premium feature offered within the app at a small cost of $2.50 a month, which will remove ads and provide a few additional features. Um, Making some assumptions that 5 people who see the app download it and 5 people who download it buy the premium, that will result in $3,500 a year, completely cutting off the expenses. In addition, the advertising on the app with a low CPM value of $2 will create an additional $500 to $1,500 in revenue, making that our total profits for the first year. So to kind of wrap things up, my procrastination prevention is easy to develop, and as a result, it has low startup costs, which gives it a low risk and reliable profits. All right, thank you. I'll now be taking questions.
Great job, Garno.
Thank you.
Judges, why don't we start with you first, Zach? Do you have any
Absolutely. So great presentation, Garno. Thank you. I think that everybody in school has an issue with this to some extent. So I don't think you're lacking any potential customers. My first idea right when you started was that the app almost seems too simple. But then my next thought after listening was that's actually your biggest strength. It's so simple, and the simplest ideas and the simplest solutions tend to be the best ideas sometimes. So I thought that it was very strong in that regard. And I think, from a critique standpoint, my first thoughts are you might be underestimating the cost it could take to develop this app. So I guess my first question is, do you know how to code? Are you a developer? Would you be part of building it yourself?
I am proficient in a few programming languages. Currently, I can do Java, and I'm in the process of learning C++ and Swift. So that will help with the app development. Anything that I can't do, that is where the $1,000 will be going to hire people who can help me so I can do it myself, more so hiring people who can do it themselves.
Okay, great. And then how do you plan to tell the world about your product?
The main method will be through Instagram advertising. I looked it up, and Instagram not only has the best rates, but also has the highest click value, probably due to how their scrolling system works. But that will cover for a large amount of our potential customers. Besides that, mouth to mouth is always a good way to get things around, and as the app grows in popularity, so will the amount of attraction it gets. So that's going to be my main method.
And my last question, would you consider, is it part of your business model to take this app outside of the school system and to develop it for the work, or,
Of course,
for the working environment?
the fully customizable nature of the app means that it can be used for pretty much anything. One of the examples I had on there was like working out, for example. If that's what you want to do, that's what you can put in your schedule, and that's what it'll be based off of. School students are just our target demographic, but it can really be used for anyone, for any situation.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Gary, you want to go? I see you.
Okay. As usual, Zach takes all my questions, and he covered a lot. Good presentation. Good presentation. My biggest question is, I looked at what I do because my memory as I age has faded a bit. And what I do is I go on my iPhone and I just put it in my calendar, and it has 2 alert systems. Okay. And so that's what I do all day. I get these alerts. So I already have it. It's something. So I'm trying to figure out how yours differentiates from what I do every day, is putting it in my calendar, getting an alert, and it's simple. So how does it differentiate?
Yeah, and one of the biggest problems we had while coming up with this was getting that differentiation. And the main way I plan to do that is by, as I said previously, incorporating all the different apps that all do different things. Like, for example, similar to the calendar, you will get alerts, but this one will have additional features such as if you pick up your phone to get distracted, it'll tell you, or it'll give you a quote to help you stay motivated, stuff like that. And as the app goes on, I plan to keep adding more things of the like, and to help kind of, as you said, differentiate it from stuff that people already have on their phone.
Okay. And the other thing is, which is I guess my big thing, is the capitalization. When you say you only need $1,000 and you're going to hire maybe 1 or 2 people.
My main goal towards those $1,000 isn't exactly to get people to do a job, it's to get people to educate me on how to do it. I feel like I messed around with Xcode, as I mentioned before. I worked around with it before to see how simple it was. Within a 10-minute tutorial, I basically got down all the basics. And I'm sure it gets more complicated, but I feel like it is something that I can manage on my own given the correct time frame.
Okay. So I would just recommend, like I did before, that you look at your capitalization. It's never as low as you think it is. It's always higher, always. And business doesn't travel in a straight line. It's got a lot of curves, like our wheel actually. It's got a lot of curves. that you're not going to anticipate right now. It's just going to happen. You've got to be able to be agile. So I would look at raising more money than you're thinking. Okay, but good job.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one more question. Dr. Ma, if you have a question.
Okay, quickly, I think users can really identify with this product because I feel like it's sort of like the Noom app for studying. And I think that it kind of uses the individual psychology. And I feel like maybe if you can tap in a little bit more, maybe with other partnerships that would address kind of a capitalization and get more users, like with like a Khan Academy or something like that, you can put like insert ad space for those particular users. I feel like that is sort of your market. The other kind of concern I had is like, will it require your users to actually input their schedule and data, or there be some sort of thing, it's extracting the use of other apps that are being opened so they can identify and track where you're spending the most time and then redirect your attention and your motivation. But I think it's a great idea. And I think that you could even extend the idea for integrating the user's sleep pattern, because sleep and procrastination and studying and optimizing all those things with exercise, I think there's a lot of applications for that. So good job.
Thank you. I think that's a great idea to implement the sleep pattern. And in terms of other apps, in the future, partnerships with other apps may very well be possible, like some scheduling apps designed at GC, for example, to directly put the schedule in there. But as of right now, I only have the intention for manual entry.
Very good. Well, thank you, judges. Thank you, Garno. That was excellent. I definitely can use that app, as I'm sure many of my students can as well. So, okay, is Alicia ready? Alicia, you're
Yes.
up.
Let
Okay.
me share my screen. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Alicia, and my business would be a mentoring service. And right now, the title or the name of it is Future of Filmmaking. Okay. So the mission, my business would offer a mentoring service for potential filmmakers to grow in that industry, with providing a platform to talk to professional filmmakers over the phone for an hour to see if the industry is a good fit based on their interests and answers to questions. And the way I would provide these connections would be through my mom, who's a film producer, and through her connections, I can connect with her connections, and that's how it'll grow, and that's how I can get even more filmmakers to get into this platform as a mentor. And considering my target customers, I would offer this service for 150 because their time is really valuable and very limited, so that can kind of entice them to be involved. And my service is all about opportunity. So if they can't afford it, they can always sign a waiver application. So the biggest strength I would say of this is connections. Film producers and those in the industry don't really hire those who are not referred because of trust. And so this platform would help people get opportunities even when they're not in the industry at all and they don't know anyone and they're brand new to the industry. So the steps into the service, this is kind of a more practical explanation. The client will sign up through a website that I can make, and then process their payment, check if they need a waiver. Then I can schedule the call for the filmmaker and the mentee. And then logging data and information and schedules would be through spreadsheets. Then after their hour-long call, me alongside the mentor will process their answers and find out what area of the industry, what specific role best works for them based on their personality and such. Then for a callback, I will assign the professional in that specific role of interest
to give tips, advice, and potential job shadows to the client over the phone, which benefits the mentor and the mentee. The mentor gets extra help, the mentee gets that chance of opportunity and experience. So in summary, the key strategies to get the business up, I will be scheduling calls. Then to entice customers, I can show what the filmmakers have worked on, shows, movies, things of that nature. In order to get my customers to return, the follow-up call will be advertised. And here the statistics is really interesting to me because 247,000 people are in the industry, but only 85,000 are considered professionals. And professionals are usually those with experience. So this platform will try to get that number up to help with experience and opportunity. The lifetime value of this, I think, is very high because it helps them with their career choices and their chances. And primarily, I would say the target is young adults to get in the industry, and it's an affordable way and getting that quality experience in the field. And that is the end. I will take questions.
Thank you, Alicia. As a filmmaker myself, I always admire people trying to change that industry because it's a hard one to change. So thank you. Judges, Gary, would you like to take the first question so Zach doesn't take your question this time?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I'm an ex-concert promoter, which is not in the film business, but it's an entertainment business. How many people do you feel is in your audience that you can attract? I mean, how would you get to them? From film schools or where?
I would say primarily through the connections that I can get, and then they can like through film school, exactly that, and social media. And I know in film school, a lot of people don't know even like where to start, and because most of them don't know anybody. And so I think going to film schools and advertising on social media is a huge way to help.
Okay. No, it was a good presentation. I really liked. I didn't hear anything about or much about the cost involved in raising money to finance this.
Right. So to pay the mentors, since their time is valuable, I would do crowdfunding. I think that's the best way, and do that through social.
Okay. Very unique idea. Good idea.
Thank you.
I'll probably call you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Ma, do you have any questions?
Great idea. I hadn't thought about it like that, but I guess I've always thought like Hollywood and the film industry was all about nepotism and who you know, not what you know. So I feel like that kind of addresses that for the people who have their career dreams of becoming filmmakers. Some of the questions that came up, or the concerns I had, if you will, is like I can see you kind of extending the business beyond just filmmaking and for other businesses as well. But then you kind of get into the space where it's like, how is this different than LinkedIn and those other career type platforms on social media? So you'll have a little bit of an uphill there. I feel like also this could be an opportunity if those connections work well, where you can establish not just a trusted relationship, but maybe an internship, because I feel like a phone call or just peering in a snapshot of somebody's career doesn't give the student or the person looking to learn more about it a better idea about what that career looks like on the day-to-day fundraising, raising money for the for your final product, and that type of thing. So I feel like there's an opportunity to maybe establish a relationship in the form of internships. The other thing was maybe even in terms of like raising money, you can establish like a subscription basis where you have like your mentor as your accountability partner. If you're a student and you're working on a project, you have these milestones. It's like your life coach. Have you done these things? And I don't know enough about the film industry to speak about that beyond that, but maybe it can be like a subscription. This could help address your revenue situation, but also have an accountability coach guiding you through the process of filmmaking.
Yeah, thank you. That's really great feedback. And going back to the internship, I guess that's where the job shadowing comes in, because that can help the filmmaker, with extra help, but it also helps the mentee. So I guess the opportunity for job shadowing and internships and working closely with the filmmaker. Thank
Good
you.
job.
All right, and then first of all, great presentation. A lot of great ideas today. So love to hear the idea. I think, like you said, it's very difficult to establish those connections in the industry. So many people that I grew up actually knowing got their starts in the film industry through, personal relationships, and it's just how the world works. So for people that don't have those types of relationships already built in, I think it is a great platform that, it's a great idea. My first thought was it's catered to, at the moment, from what I heard, to a phone call, to a one-time use scenario. And my thought would be, as a business that's trying to grow, you should incorporate more ways for your business to make money and to grow with you. So these people that start with a phone call, maybe the next offer as a business, you could say, submit your treatment, submit your script, and that's a higher price. And then submit, a sizzle reel, or submit your movie idea or something like that, where you have ways to grow with the customer. So it's not a one-time payment and then you don't talk to them again. I also love the idea of the internship that Edna recommended, because it's all about the relationship. And as people know, in the business world, starting off as an intern is a lot of times a great way to get your foot in the door and to meet people and everything like that. So to me, I love the idea, and I love the starting point of where it could start, but I could see it growing to a much larger thing. So what's your take on that?
No, yeah, that's really great ideas to add the to grow, to submit like their script or their reel and things like that. I think that's a really good feedback. I'll definitely keep that in mind.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you, Judges. Alicia, thank you. I will say one thing as well, since filmmaking is kind of in my blood. I think a subscription idea could be awesome too. I know we do that. We actually have a lawyer, and they're on a subscription package. We pay them so much a month. If we use them, we don't use them. So that might be something you'd be interested in as well. Great. Thank you.
so much.
Okay. So we have one more contestant. Melanie, it's your turn. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. It's all yours.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let me just present. Hi everyone, my name is Melody, and the business that I'm starting is called Smoothielicious, a company that promotes the phrase eat right, live right. So the idea of this business is a self-serve smoothie bar welcoming all types of and have the freedom to choose the ingredients that are best fit for their bodies. Customers have the ability to make their smoothies on their own time, at their own pace, at their own convenience, with fresh, all-natural ingredients in a matter of seconds. They will be able to see every ingredient that goes in the smoothie and have the control of their own dietary limitations, unlike other smoothie bars. The problem with most smoothie bars is that they don't actually show you how the smoothie is made or all the extra preservatives and ingredients that are added in the smoothies. And this kind of ruins the purpose of a smoothie. And this can be a huge problem for many consumers as it can lead to all sorts of allergic reactions. So how I came up with this idea and why I'm the right person. So I personally have many friends and family who have severe allergies. One of them being celiac disease, which is an allergy to gluten, a protein found in most ingredients. Therefore, I chose to start this business because I believe everyone should feel comfortable with the food they consume and feel confident when they walk into a smoothie bar, knowing they will walk out feeling healthy and happy. And my passion is to help people, and one way I can do so is by allowing consumers to have delicious, tasty smoothies with healthier ingredients. So first, my strategy is to make one simple model and create a system that can duplicate itself. Once a customer walks in, they will be able to access the smoothie machine, which will ask them a few questions about their needs and concerns. And with those, it will list the ingredients that are best fit for them. Once they receive the smoothie and walk out, they will enjoy the process and have the best experience. Next, I will build a team because I believe that successful businesses all have team players that equally contribute to the company. I also will advertise my business by first sharing it with friends, family, and other small businesses who aren't my competitors. Promoting my company at gyms and sporting events would also be a great way to target people who are committed to a healthy diet. I also believe location is important because I want it to be in places where people can afford high quality ingredients so my business can be profitable, but at the same time still be accessible to those in need. And subscription is also available for those who are regular customers and don't have a lot of other options due to their sensitivities. But again, this isn't limited to those people only. So as far as the costs go, depending on the ingredients used and the size of the cup, one smoothie will cost on average about $7 to make. I will charge different prices depending on the size and ingredients that are added. These prices are not completely accurate and aren't subject to change due to additional charges. So a small size would be $6.99, a medium $7.99, and a large $8.99. They will also include additional charges for specific ingredients that are more costly. My target market, as mentioned earlier, is for those who are severely allergic to certain ingredients that their body isn't immune to. However, this smoothie bar isn't limited to those with food sensitivities. Many people who take their diet seriously or who are working on eating healthier can take advantage of this bar since it does offer a variety of ingredients for every type of person. The 4 common intolerances that I separated into different categories include lactose, gluten, caffeine, fructose, and I'm going to focus on these specific sensitivities. I have seen places that do self-service, but they aren't focused on smoothies. Also, I know more and more places are beginning to add smoothies to their menus because they are known to be healthier than other drinks and more people are demanding for healthier alternatives nowadays. So my competitors and funding, competitors may include Jamba Juice, Juice It Up, Press Juicery, and many others. The main difference is that my company is targeted towards people with food sensitivities and also self-service, meaning you as the customer customly can choose the ingredients and the machine makes it for you in a matter of seconds. As far as funding goes, I will contribute from my own savings as well as assets that I can liquidate. Crowdfunding, as mentioned by the judges, would be an effective way to fund my company. I'm assuming my capital investment would be around $50,000 for the leases, equipment, and licensing included. And I'm also willing to work with wholesale stores to get the right ingredients for my consumers. However, my main goal is to seek investors who see the value in my service and who can relate to its purpose. Also, another effective way is by asking friends and family to contribute their efforts, and promoting at small events and doing fundraisers would also help in raising money. So I hope my business can make you see the value of healthier alternatives in order to eat healthy, live healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melanie. As you, I think, know, my daughter is celiac, so it's very hard finding food, safe food for her. So this would be a game changer, really, for people that do have food intolerances and allergies like that. And I also love the subscription idea for a smoothie because that would make me maybe go and get more. I don't know. Okay, judges. Dr. Ma, I'm going to start with you this time.
Okay, well, first of all, I love smoothies. So anything that is related to smoothies, it's just fantastic. I work near a creation smoothie bar, so that has it echoes a lot in terms of your business idea and your plan and everything. Some of the questions I have, I think you're right to address that food allergies are more severe in this generation and just a lot of allergies in general. So how will your kitchen be able to address people who have those life-threatening allergies like a peanut allergy and balancing it with somebody who wants a protein shake, and most likely those protein shakes come from nuts and tree nuts and all that stuff. So I feel like one of the ways that you can kind of address this and then also generate more income is kind of do what Daily Harvest is doing. They are I'm sure you know, but it's a business that they send smoothies to your house, and you can buy as many as you want. But you can also do a customization plan. So I think that that's kind of where you differentiate yourself from these other businesses, because you're focusing on those people with allergies. And let's say, for example, you found out the Melanie smoothie doesn't have peanuts, but it's also manufactured in a kitchen that is free from all those nut allergies. And as you know, there's little disclosures on all the packaging. This does not contain peanuts, but is manufactured in a company, in a kitchen that has it. So I feel like that's a niche. Some areas of concern kind of in terms of the expenses, I think you can actually go a little higher on the prices. I know when I go to Creation, I'm being charged anywhere between $12 and $14 a smoothie. And so I think, especially the market that you're targeting, I think people, if they know that they have confidence in the product that you're selling and it's high quality, you can go up on those prices, because you will be in a very expensive retail area where there's high foot traffic and that type of thing, if you're going to focus on customers that are walking in off the street. I do like the fact that you emphasize that you're going to be building a team, and you recognize and call that out right away. So I think you have a good foundation in terms of your business idea and approach.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Zach?
All right. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of smoothies, one of my favorite things to consume in the world. And, you know, I like that you had budgeted, you know, a good amount. I think you said $50,000 for startup costs, which is, you know, a more realistic startup cost. But once you got to the part of your presentation that these would be essentially automated machines, my first thought that I thought was interesting that might save a lot of startup cost, especially considering that, you know, retail and restaurants are one of the most failed businesses to start. So it's one of the toughest businesses in the world that you can start and survive and thrive with. But I was thinking about a hole in the market. So there are a lot of retail smoothie locations, but what there is not any of is similar to Redbox. So when you walk into like a supermarket and you see, you know, a way to get a video off a machine, I see that being a possibility. You could have a smoothie machine at locations and you wouldn't have to pay rent at all like you would having your own full shop. And I see that working really well with a subscription model as well, where you could just have like a little key card that goes on your keychain, swipe it, and you're at the grocery store and you get a smoothie right there. Or, you know, you go to some other business and you're basically how Starbucks has kind of positioned themselves in so many different locations of other larger companies. It might be a way to differentiate yourself. So I guess my question is, what are your thoughts on that? Do you see that as something that could be part of your business model?
Yeah, I mean, I've never thought of that. I always thought of having like my own store and like bar, but that's a great idea because it would reduce my costs in the beginning, and I could have like expand in more different areas, not just have like one or two locations. It could be in like every store or every place that people usually like to go. And it's faster and more convenient for people to go. And like, let's say if they're at a store and they want a smoothie right away, they don't need to drive all the way to my bar. They can just get it from that specific place right away. So that's a great idea. Yeah, I would definitely take that into consideration.
All right, great. I'll take a royalty off that as well. So thank you. No, I'm just kidding. No, that was great though. Thank you.
I wish it was my idea. Zach, good idea. Anyway, very good presentation. And I guess we're all smoothie fans. I literally make I have a smoothie every day. Every morning, I make my own smoothie. So you got me. I see it as a very franchisable idea also, which is, you know, that's a great way to build up a business. Let me focus on one thing for advertisement that I think might be helpful for this. And like it was mentioned at the beginning, my biography has partly been in real estate forever. Now, they do a lot of advertising. Real estate agents do a lot of advertising, print advertising. And there's other places also where you can say, listen, I will help you with your advertising by putting a coupon in there. You'll get free advertising and you give them a small discount, and it's a way of spreading the word around. And you might be able to use me, in fact. Okay. I like the idea. It's very good. So you might want to think of that. The only part that I look at that I would disagree with Zack on is that I think $50,000 is probably not enough for what you're doing, because you're going to have to lease a spot. You're going to have to, when you lease something, it's not just having the money, you also have to show some financing, some background. They want to make sure you're going to be able to do it for some time. I think his idea going into a supermarket, et cetera, is a brilliant idea. I like that you said you're going to build up a team. It was great. I think your concept is terrific and franchisable, like I said. So good luck to you. That was excellent.
Thank you so much. You guys all gave great ideas.
Excellent. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Melanie. And my daughter and I will be one of your first customers, no doubt. So
Yeah.
now I would like to close down the competition, and we're going to open it up to the judges for some Q&A. I'm going to pass it on over to Sophia, GCC's Business Club's Director of Marketing, and she's going to host the audience Q&A with our judges.
Thank you, Professor Zakaria. Hello, everyone. I want to thank you all for joining us today. I'm the marketing director of GCC's Business Club, and I have a set of questions that my executive team has worked on, after which we'll pass it down to the live stream audience. So for our audience members, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to type it in the chat. The first question I have for you is, what did you do differently than others that led to the success of your own pitch? And what would you recommend other people do that will make their pitches successful? And Mr. Zack Fleischmann, if you'd like to start on this one.
So in terms of creating a successful pitch, I think the first step is rehearsing it an infinite amount of times until you don't have to think about it anymore. That's the first step, is where everything is seamless. You know all the information about your company inside and out, and you've planned ahead. So you've actually, you've taken a different approach, where instead of just thinking about the business from your perspective, you're looking at the business from an investor's perspective or from an outsider's perspective, and you're anticipating the questions that they may ask. So the pitch is designed to preemptively allay all concerns. So if you think, okay, well, they might ask about my startup costs. So then you make sure in the pitch you cover that. And then you think, well, let's see, if I was an investor in this, I might ask about X, Y, and Z. And you cover X, Y, and Z in the pitch. So by the end of the pitch, the goal is to almost have no questions, where it's, you know, everything has been covered. You've already covered all the essential topics. So I would say between that and between really understanding your industry, understanding your competitors, is key to the pitch. And I'll say the final thing is the most important one, which is understanding what the customer wants. So what does the customer want? It's not always just about your idea. It's also, you know, about what's the customer willing to pay for something, and what does the customer want, and delivering them what they want. So incorporating that whole, you know, all those bits of information into a pitch, I think would lead to a successful one.
Thank you so much. Dr. Ma, if you have anything to add on it.
I would echo what Zack said, because you just have the time, the elevator pitch, the 30 seconds to instill confidence in the person who's listening and receiving that pitch. And so not just practicing just your elevator pitch, but practicing how you're going to respond to the questions. Because a lot of times people will invest in the inventor or the person operating the business. Not necessarily they think the idea is great, but they believe in the individual who's starting the business. So if you come off with confidence right from the get-go, and that means knowing your business, answering the questions concisely, and just being authentic, I think that those are very important keys.
Thank you so much. Right, it's very important piece of advice that I think everyone who's listening out there can benefit from. And talking about your experience on Shark Tank, I'd like to ask you, what was the most difficult part of getting your business up and running? And we can start with Mr. Gary Fleischman on this one.
Okay, the most difficult part was raising capital at the beginning. The second most, I guess, issue was convincing people not to laugh too much when you say you just reinvented the wheel. The good part about that was that means they were listening when you say, we literally reinvented the wheel. But how does somebody take things seriously? That's why, to me, it's important with these pitches, etc. Let me use a quote. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. That works with all of business to me. And also part of that is that you have to, if you're just going to talk and talk like I'm doing right now and not listen without asking questions, you're probably not going to do well in business. So the hardest part of that was figuring out the questions to ask to get the right reply. So it's preparation, like they said before, it's preparation, it's understanding your product well, and using, and it's not everybody has this though, using enthusiasm. That's important. So that's what we needed. And luckily, Zack, who really runs the company, I just have a name, CEO, has all of that. And that's what made us successful.
Thank you, Mr. Fleischman. So for our audience, the key to a perfect pitch is preparation and using enthusiasm. So moving on to our next question, I'd like to ask Mr. Zack Fleischman, how did you come up with the name Sharkwill?
Yeah, great question. So the shark wheel shape is based on many shapes in nature. Shockingly, almost everything in nature moves in a sine wave, almost everything. From the DNA helix shape is a sine wave, how fish and sharks swim, how the planets move around the sun, how even you walk with a right, left movement. So everything in nature actually moves in a sine wave. It's very interesting. And one of the things that was so obvious was the shape of our wheel. When you turn it on its side, it's actually identical shape to shark jaws. So if you take a shark wheel, you put it next to shark jaws, you can't even tell which one it is. So again, it's a biomimetic invention. It's biomimicry. This wheel is based off of things found in nature. So we like the name Sharkwill. It had an edge to it. It's a name that's easy to remember, and it has a relation to to nature. So it has a reason to be named that, and that's where it comes from. We've gotten a lot of questions before in the past. Did you name it Sharkwill because you were on Shark Tank? And that's definitely not the correct answer, but that's why it's called Sharkwill.
Right. I personally associated the name Sharkwill with the show Shark Tank, but it's really interesting to hear about the process of coming up with the name. So, Dr. Ma, we know promoting and advertising are well-known concepts to produce exposure, and the TV show Shark Tank is known to have millions of viewers. How did the exposure you gained on Shark Tank impact your company?
Okay, so it had a huge influence, and I think they call it the Shark Tank effect. And there's a lot of other opportunities because their audience at the time, I think it was like 10 million, and it's syndicated around the world on CNBC. I had a much broader audience. And for those who didn't see my segment, I will tell you now that, spoiler alert, I did not get a deal with one of the TV sharks, but because it was broadcasted to a lot of interested investors or just in general audience, I got a lot of leads, and I did end up getting a deal with a non-TV shark. And that deal was much more favorable in terms of the needs that I needed. I had at the time in terms of logistics and managing the company. So I thought that was fortuitous. And I also felt like at the time, you don't realize it as a TV audience watcher that just because you didn't get a deal on TV doesn't mean that you didn't necessarily get a deal after the show aired. And so that was probably the best thing. That was the best outcome that I had, because even after the show aired and it was my season happened to air on the year of the Olympics, so it aired twice that season because they didn't want to create new programming. So I had another wave of investors reach out, and everybody from actual investors who do like Silicon Valley types, but also a group of retired people from Florida who wanted to reach out to me and pool their money together in this retirement community and help me out with the business. That was so generous of them. So I feel like the benefit was beyond those 8 minutes on TV.
Thank you so much. Zack, Fleishman, if you'd like to add on this.
Yeah, it was just an incredible experience for us to be on the show. And similar to what Edna said, the win is just airing. So I've talked to many Shark Tank companies that got a deal, didn't get a deal. And no matter what happened, the common thread was simply airing on the show is something that is invaluable. You know, I don't know the exact metrics on what they consider that to be worth, but it's certainly worth millions of dollars just to air. So it helped, you know, our company out tremendously in many different aspects. I would say the largest aspect for a company like us, which requires an education, and it's not just, you know, we're not selling a t-shirt. So we have to really explain ourselves and show why we're better and why it's worth using our wheel rather than a traditional wheel. And what Shark Tank did was it made large companies contact us. So instead of me cold calling a company and say, hey, I got this like square looking wheel, would you be interested in looking at it, and having them hang up on me, it was the opposite. So just, it gives you this weird halo effect to be on the show, where they assume that you're a legitimate company because you're on the show, and they reach out to you. And that is worth, you know, any amount of money you can spend in advertising.
So there's a little bit of a validation effect. So like you're saying, I was on Shark Tank. It automatically confers that, oh, we must have gotten through all this casting and being validated by a whole television network. So automatically that kind of gives you more credibility, like Zack is saying.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ma and Mr. Fleishman. So my next question is, as an entrepreneur, I know you have put forth a lot of effort and personal sacrifice over a multi-year period. And based on that, would you suggest young people make personal sacrifices, take the risk, and pursue their vision, or follow a more traditional career path? And Mr. Gary Fleishman, would you like to start on this one?
Okay, I'm going to do a little sermon then, I guess. I have a thing that I live by, and I hope it answers your question, but I have to throw it out anyways. The question that most people ask is, when somebody does something great, let's say they go on a diet and they lose weight, and somebody asks, how did you do that? I think they're asking the wrong question. The question for most is why? What's your motivation? When you are really motivated, you can almost do anything. I really firmly believe this. Like little kids, I used to teach early childhood education at Santa Monica College in psychology. Kids don't usually ask how, they ask why. They're smarter than adults in a lot of ways. And whenever I've done anything great, it's because I knew why. If I put $1 on this table right here that you can't even see, and I say, come and get it. But what I didn't tell you is the table's about 10 feet high. You're going to say, forget it. I know how to do it, but I'm not going to do it. It's not worth it. But if I put $10,000 on that table, you have a why, and you're going to go get it. Same thing in business. Knowing your why moves you forward. I hope that answers your question. I had to say my sermon. Okay.
Dr. Ma, if you have anything to add.
Who was that for? I didn't hear.
Oh, sorry. I was saying, Dr. Ma, if you have anything to add on it.
I will say that I can't add anything else to Gary's comment, but I will say entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It depends on the individual. It's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than just going in 9 to 5, doing your day job. So it's not for everybody, and you have to figure out what your why is.
Thank you so much. As we're short on time, I would like to move on to some of our audience's questions. So I see that Sarkis is asking, where do you see your offerings and businesses heading over the next 5 years? And we can start with Mr. Zack Fleishman on this one.
So in the next 5 years, I would say our goal and where we see ourselves is, for the first time ever, having a real option for wheels. So people didn't even know there was an option. There's just a wheel, there's a circular wheel. So we believe that we're giving people a choice in their products for the first time ever. And it's very important for us to align ourselves with major companies so they see that we're a legitimate business and we're not a gimmicky, funny looking thing, that we actually have like scientifically proven performance advantages, and we become more quickly accepted if we align ourselves with major players. So in the last year, we've been fortunate enough to sign deals to be on US military deployment bags. We're on Samsonite luggage, Harley Davidson luggage. We're on backpacks, travel bags, duffel bags for NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, National Hockey League, PGA Tour, the Olympics, 150 different universities. And so that's where we're headed in 5 years. We're trying to get on many consumer products, many industrial products, and we have, a pathway to get there.
That's very interesting to hear. And Dr. Ma, if you have anything to add.
I think Zack has been a little bit modest. They have blown it out of the water even more than he's letting on. So on my so after my segment aired, I was able to get a deal with one of the non-TV sharks. They helped kind of manage my business and kind of tidy it up for me, so I don't have to manage that anymore. I have kind of refocused my own personal life to focus more on bilingual education and children's books. So that's what I'm working on right now. So I have, and they're just called Travel, Learn, and See. They are English and Chinese, and it's sort of like Dora the Explorer meets Rick Steves. And so that's kind of what I'm working on right now. And hopefully I'd love to actually, like Alicia's idea, I would love to see on the animated series on the big screen. So maybe she can help me with that later.
Thank you so much for your answers. I see another question coming up from Sarina. She's asking, what type of people would you recommend to go on Shark Tank? Just anyone starting up a company in need of funding, or people with specific sorts of companies? And Mr. Gary Fleischman, would you like to answer this question?
Well, I would say that anybody that has a passion about their business and can express that passion in a story, I would highly, highly recommend that they go on Shark Tank. Like both Zack and Edna said, it's just a win-win kind of situation. Even if you don't get selected as we had 3 sharks jump on us, okay? But that wasn't the key. The key was the exposure. So anybody that has a passion, that they can express that passion to the judges and to the audience, more importantly, go for it. Go for it.
Yes, it's definitely a great passion. So, Zack Fleishman, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think that if you're going to go on a show like Shark Tank or Shark Tank itself, you really have to be a student of the show. You have to really know the ins and the outs. I've seen some people just knock it out of the park on the show, and I've seen the opposite. And you don't want to be the opposite. So I think that, it's really important for you to do your homework and understand what the sharks are looking for on the show, so you can come off as knowledgeable and as prepared and professional as possible. And I think that, everybody has an idea, and there's so many amazing ideas out there, but there's a huge gap between an idea and a business. And if you go on Shark Tank with just an idea, it's not going to be a good experience, because they're going to find out that you haven't truly, why should they invest in you and give you their hard-earned dollars if you haven't invested enough time and effort into the company as a business as a whole? So I would say that there's a major step to take before you decide to really jump on Shark Tank, and it can't just be an idea.
Thank you so much. Dr. Ma, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one too.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to echo that, but I will say that there are a lot of like safety nets, if you will. If you are just walking onto the show with just an idea without a real business, there will be gatekeepers along the way, the casting people, who will kind of prevent you from moving forward if your idea is just an idea. And being a student of the show, for me, that is like taking any other exam like I did in undergraduate medical school and in residency. I watched every single episode, answered every single question out loud, practicing it, rehearsing it in the context of my own business. And I did it while driving the car. I'd tell my surgical friends about it. I'd be in the operating doing my pitch, and until I had it totally, they have nowhere to go. This patient is stuck with me, and they're stuck with me, and I'm going to be practicing my pitch in front of them. But I just would practice. Being a student means to practice those exam questions, doing previously published retired questions, and you have the benefit of all the seasons of Shark Tank available for you on streaming. And if you're serious about being on the show, watch those shows, watch all the episodes, practice those questions. I made a spreadsheet of all the questions, who asked what, and Mr. Wonderful is going to be asking for a royalty. You are on it before, the question before they even ask the question. So being confident. So even sometimes you've seen Barbara even say, I don't know about the business, but I believe in you. I've seen this other cupcake before, but I believe in this person. And if you come across being confident and knowing your business, and that comes through just practicing, that comes with practicing and answering the questions in the context of your business.
Right, so it's all about confidence and preparation. Okay, so one last question before I pass it down to our president, Kevin Bartani. So, which is one valuable piece of advice that you received when you first began your career and still use today? Mr. Gary Fleischman, would you like to start on this one?
Oh boy. When you say career, you mean in Sharkwill or I've done more than a few businesses?
In general, as a CEO of Sharkwill and in general.
Okay, could you say, because I was having trouble hearing your question exactly.
Yeah, I had trouble with the question too. I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Me too.
It was hard to hear.
Sorry about that. I was asking about what is one valuable piece of advice that you received when you first began your career and still use today? And it's about being a CEO of Sharkwill and in general.
The best piece of advice.
Nice. I see your best piece of advice. Okay. I could be here for 2 hours on that one, but best piece of advice is to listen to other people's advice also. That it's not just all in you. You have to talk to other people that have built successful businesses. Ask them the question you just asked. Be open to different ideas and don't be closed-minded to just what you have in here right now. Because experience really helps. And if you don't have experience, you have to seek it someplace else. And it's out there. There's people willing to share, especially successful people. They're willing, most of them are willing to share their ideas and help you. So I would make myself available to other people to ask the right questions and to listen. That's it.
Dr. Moore, would you like to add on this?
I will say that you've kind of summarized a few times, like there's a difference between being confident. We want you to be confident when you're doing the pitches and presenting your business, but there's a fine line between being confident and being arrogant. You want to become confident, but not arrogant. And I think that one of the ways that you can do that is to learn from other people's experience, reading books, listening to podcasts, listening to interviews. It is not reinventing the wheel, right? Because people have started businesses before. And like in all the examples that our students did today, they said this business is similar to this business, Lyft, or this is a competitor. These are the Jamba Juice. Look at what they're doing. They have paved the road basically. You're just tweaking it to make it applicable to you or for the teenage driver. They have done it. Those are successful businesses. You can learn from them.
Thank you so much. Mr. Zack Fleishman, what is your perspective on this?
Well, I think probably the most important is what Gary brought up about why, but after his sermon on it, I probably don't need to touch on it anymore. I would say that the biggest weakness today in the pitches that I heard, and what I consider to be one of the most important parts of business, is a team. I think that a lot of the presenters today position themselves as being able to do it on their own, or trying to save money to just do it by themselves. And I think that in really trying to grow a truly successful business, you have to realize that it does take money to really start up a proper business, and it does take a team to fill in the gaps that you have. And really trying to assemble an all-star team and trying to plug all the holes of a business, from marketing to sales to development to whatever your business entails. I think that forming a team and realizing that firing and hiring is part of it, and you might not pick the perfect person out of the gates, and you might work with a buddy, a friend to start with, but really, if you're really passionate about your business and you're really set on growing a successful business, getting the right teammates in place, I think, is number one on the list.
Thank you so much. Your insights have been very helpful to our students and the audience, and I want to again thank you for joining us today. Next, we will be putting our judges into a breakout room to discuss the given pitches and decide a winner. At this time, only judges should enter breakout rooms. So students, if you receive a breakout room pop-up, please do not enter. Instead, you will stay in the room. Judges, we will see you soon. So now I want to pass it down to our president of the club, Kevin Bartani, to acknowledge former business club president Luisana Mendoza. Kevin?
Thank you, Sophia. As Sophia mentioned, I'd like to thank Luisana Mendoza, which was the former president of the club. She's the first ever community college recipient of a World Trade Week scholarship. It's awarded to people with the goal of career in international trade, which Luisana strived to achieve. And with her hard work, we were able to host this event today. And as a token of appreciation, we want to give Luisana a warm thank you for this, for her work and her tremendous efforts for the club. All right. On a side note, I'd like to also thank those who pitched their ideas today, Garno, Alicia, Ollie, and Melanie. You guys all did an amazing job. I know myself and my execs are proud, and we hope that you guys do eventually go on with these businesses, and maybe you guys can be on Shark Tank or whatnot. So that's always a good thing to mention. And you guys all did hard work. We really appreciate it, especially when you're in the elevator pitch and you guys made it to the second and final round. So we'd like to thank you guys as well.
Thank you.
Also, on another side note, the judges are obviously taking their time to, discuss who's or the placing of everyone. So that's why we're in this room. So just bear with us for a few minutes, and then we'll tell you guys, or I'll announce the results for you guys. Okay. Just a quick thing on the club. So the club was formed back in 2019, and this club has branched out to other colleges, including UCLA, USC, UC Riverside, Cal Poly Pomona, and CSUN. So this club has networked out basically to a lot of other clubs, and also respective clubs within their own colleges. Like, as we've managed to work with clubs like ASA, we managed to work with clubs like the student body. So the business club has always been a great networking tool, and you don't necessarily obviously have to be a business major to even be a part of the club. Anyone can join the club, and anyone can have their own bright ideas to even mention to the club. It's always good to have people that are trying to get out of their comfort zone, and especially through networking, because networking is a key aspect of not only business, but everything, to getting connections and anything, especially through stuff like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is always a great tool to start marketing, and also like how you guys want to advertise through social media. Instagram and Facebook advertising is probably one of the best advertising tools to use for any companies that you guys have in mind. And it's also just overall great to have even a partner with you, because sometimes doing work by yourself, especially if you wanted to start now as a student, will always be hard. But as long as you can put your mindset through it, you guys will always do it. Business is for everyone, no matter the major, which is our motto. It's always good to have something to look forward to in either your club, school, or your business. So you guys also, like I said, you guys did a great job. And also, we will have applications open up soon for, I believe, fall 2021. If you guys ever wanted to, you guys could apply for executive positions, and also be a great tool to network with like-minded individuals in entrepreneurship, businesses, and venture capitalists and whatnot. So these group of execs that we have here have all done that, and they've gained scholarships, connections in the real world, and even internships in companies that are making millions of dollars in profit and whatnot. So I just want to let you guys know about that as well.
I feel like we should have the Jeopardy music. Do 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 do. As we wait patiently.
I am on my toes.
I think we can also address everyone out there in YouTube land. Thank you all for attending today. Thank you for your patience. We've seen the chats and we've been monitoring the chat, so we do appreciate your feedback and attendance to the event. Should I post the business club email address in the YouTube channel in case there are people out there who are interested in joining the business club? It's a lot of fun and a lot of great people. I've had a great time.
You could, Professor Poseidon. It's businessglendale@gmail.com.
Businessglendale@gmail.com. I will do that.
Okay, well, we are back. I do want to ask our judges, Zach and Gary, do you guys mind sharing your contact information with the team if we have any other questions? I know Edna, Dr. Ma shared it already in the chat. So maybe we can get that information to the students out there that maybe have questions on what to do next as entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just Zack at sharkwill.com, ZACK at sharkwill. And Gary's GARY sharkwill.com.
Awesome. And Dr. Ma says you can catch her on her Instagram. Oh, I can't see it here. Let's see. I know it's BareEase. Does anyone have that chat up? Her Instagram?
Let's see. It is at Edna Ma MD.
At Edna Ma. Thank you. At Edna Ma MD. Excellent. Well, the judges have deliberated and we have some very special announcements. So Kevin, I'm going to pass on over to you.
Thank you, Professor Zakaria. So I'd like to thank everyone for their pitches. We would like to announce for our first place winner, which is Aline Sogomanian with her idea Drift. She'll be receiving $750 for her efforts. For second, third, and fourth, we will be telling the contestants after this meeting via email, or we will contact you guys after to notify you guys of how we're distributing the prize with you guys. So once again, like I said, congratulations to all of you. You guys did an amazing job. To everybody that who will earn extra credit or flex credit from this event, you're gonna please use the link that will be dropped below in the chat in the YouTube Live to fill out the form. This will allow staff at GCC to determine who will give credit to, and please do not leave without filling the form if you're here for extra credit. And if you don't fill out, you will not get the credit that you have desired. To conclude this event, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. I would like to thank our judges, Zack Fleischman, Gary Fleishman, and Dr. Ma for your guys' hard work and effort for attending this event. We really appreciate it for myself and my executive team. We'd also like to thank our Professor Zakaria for hosting this event, and we really appreciate it. We also would like to thank our club advisors, Professor Rafael Cardona and Professor Sofia Poseidon for all their hard work from all the semesters that we've had together with them and coordinating everything for us. Our job could not have been done without you. And I also like to thank my business club executive team. You guys are amazing people. You guys have done all the effort you can, or you guys have done as much as you can with all the effort. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. I'm glad to have you guys a part of the team. And I also like to thank the audience members for being here today. We hope to see you guys at our next future events. If you guys have any questions on the live, you guys are feel free to stay. If not, you can just sign the form and leave. And thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.